Hi, this is Chris Long from Lakeview Cottage Kids, and today's tutorial is all about how to make a sunflower. And we're going to be using traditional sunflower type colors in the brown center with the yellow petals. We're using an H hook for the purposes of this demonstration, but actually you could use whatever size hook that you would like. Now the printed directions for this are on this posting at my blog, Lakeview Cottage Kids. At blogger.com, and so we're going to start in today with using our brown number 4 weight worsted yarn, and we're going to start with the magic circle. If you're unfamiliar with that, be sure you check my video out on how to do the magic circle. We're going to start in, and there we have our circle ready to go. Now for this particular sunflower, I've chosen to have 12 petals. And so to start that out, we need 12 double crochets in our magic circle. If you are unfamiliar or you need a little brush up on double crochets, be sure to check out my tutorial on double crochets at YouTube or on my blog. Now we want to go and start in with our very first double crochet. Sometimes that's the hardest one just because it might be a little tight. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see them there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then what you'd like to do is find the end of your yarn and pull gently so that you've got all of your double crochets kind of spiraling together into that circle that's going to be the beginning center of our flower. Then what you'd like to do is put your crochet hook right in the top, in this case, of your chain that you started with. Slip stitch that together and you're ready to go. For the second round of this center, this chocolate brown center, we're going to do 2 chains, and then what we want to do is 1 chain in the same stitch as our chain 2, do a double crochet, and now we're going to go all the way around in each double crochet putting 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So far you can see that we've got a chain 3 plus a double crochet, but that's 2, 4, 6, 8, and we're doing 2 in each one. So now we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and again it's been 2 double crochets in each of our double crochets from the first round. So again, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, these two in that double crochet, 22, 23, and 24, and that's what you'd like to have. Now to end that off, you would like to put a slip stitch in the top of the first double crochet that we made. So slip stitch, pull that through, and there you've got your 2 rounds of your brown for the center of your sunflower. Do one more chain, and then we're going to take our scissors and leave 7 or 8 inches of yarn, cut it off, and just pull that whole loop through to secure that, and that's our center. Now, and you can see how that is with our sunflower here. The next thing to be able to put our yellow petals on is that we need to have our yellow yarn, and you want to take a look at your center that you've just finished and see where you've got the end of your yarn coming off of that center, and in the double crochet right to the right of that, you want to put your hook through, leaving about 5 or 6 inches of yellow on the end here. Just pull through your yarn so you have a loop on your hook. Okay? Then what we're going to do is do a chain 3. Just kind of hold that. This will all hold together when we work in the ends with the at the end when you use your yarn needle and just work those in. So what we want to do here is we're going to skip the next double crochet, which is right here, and we're going to go into the next and do a slip stitch. Do a slip like so. Then we do another chain 3. There it is. Skip the next double crochet and go into the next one and do a slip stitch, and we're going to do that 12 times, so we need to do that 10 more times. So it's chain 3, skip a double crochet down here, go into the next, do a slip stitch. There you've got your 3. We're basically making the base for our petals. We're going to do another chain 3. Now skip 1, double crochet, slip stitch into the next. Chain 3, skip and slip stitch into the next. You can see how it's forming the edge. You can actually use that kind of for an edge for different hats and other things. So a lot of the things we learn making one type of project, you can kind of take and use in another one later on. But for right now, this is a base, not really an edging at all. So we're continuing on with our next chain 3 grouping. Skip double crochet, slip stitch into the next one. Chain 3, skip a double crochet and slip stitch into the next one. Chain 3, skip a double crochet, slip stitch into the next one. Chain 3, skip double crochet, slip stitch into the next one. Chain 3, skip a double crochet, slip stitch into the next one. You can see how we're coming along here with all of our different base chain 3 spaces. I'm going to finish those up with the last few of them here. Chain 3, skip 1, go into the next, and finally one more. 1, 2, 3. And with this one we skip the last double crochet and actually slip stitch right into the base of where we started with our first chain. So we're just slipping into that, and you can see how that all kind of comes together. Okay, that round is finished, and now we're going to do the final round, which is actually filling in the petals. Now the way we want to do that is that we slip stitch into the space that was created by that first chain 3. We're just slip stitching into that. We're going to do 2 chains, and now we do 3 double crochets into that space. All of them go into the same chain 3 space. So once we have a chain 2, 3 double crochets, we end the petal by doing 2 chains and then slip stitching into the same chain 3 space. And you can see now that we have 1 petal. Next we slip stitch into the second chain 3 space, chain 2, 2 double crochet, actually 3, you want to fill this in pretty well, 3 double crochet, and end with our 2 chains, and then slip stitch into the same space. And there we have 2 petals ready to go. Okay, let's see our sunflower coming together. Slip stitch into the third space, 2 chains, 3 double crochets into the same space, and basically this is the same thing 12 times until we get all the way around. So I'm going to do all of them. If you've got the whole thing figured out, you can fast forward to the end of all of this, but if you want to just work along with me, we're now in the 4th one. Slip stitch, 2 chains, 3 double crochets, it's 2, 3, and then our 2 chains, slip stitch, don't forget that, into the same chain. There we've got 4 petals, and continuing along, try to keep your tension as even as possible so that your petals all kind of look similar. Some aren't real big and some aren't real tightly kind of pulled together. I'm going to undo my yarn a little bit. And there we have our chain, 3 double crochets, 2 chains, slip stitch in the same space. Next, slip stitch, chain 2, double crochet. Oh, get my yarn. It wants to all stay tangled together today. Kind of what happens when you're using your stash up and you've got pieces of yarn left from things. But that's what's the great thing is about working on flowers. You don't need to have too much. But it does get tangled a little bit sometimes. So then we do our chain 2, slip stitch in the same space, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowers halfway done. Now into the next space, chain 2, double crochet 3 times, chain 2, slip stitch in the same space, slip stitch in the next, and if I'm going too fast, just kind of stop the whole thing and catch up. Kind of the magic of video, I guess. So there's our 3. And once again, my yarn likes to tangle up on me today. 2 chains, slip stitch in the same opening, slip stitch in our next, 2 chains, double crochet 3 times in the same space, chain 2. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch into the next one. Just about finished, just a few more left. Do our 3 double crochets, By now you're an expert on these petals and double crochets particularly. Chain 2, slip stitch into the same space, second from the end, slip stitch, chain 2, double crochet 3 times, chain 2, slip stitch back in the space, and finally the last one, slip stitch in the last space, 2 chains, 3 double crochets, and chain 2, and then finally slip stitch in the same space. And then to end everything off, notice that you have just a little where you had your slip stitch to start everything out. Just put your hook right into that stitch, yarn over and pull through to slip stitch the last and the first petals together. Do one more chain. In this case, again, leave about 20 inches or so of yarn. Cut that off, pull the whole thing through, and there you have your finished sunflower. Now again, you're going to have yarns that you're going to have to work in with your yarn needle, and we'll have some tutorials on how to do that the best way. But basically your flower is done, ready to be attached to any of the hats, purses, head warmers, anything that you're looking for some kind of a cute embellishment, a nice summery sunflower. Again, this is Chris Long from Lakeview Cottage Kids. Thank you.